What's going on, everybody? This is Walt Blackman, your state representative, your host for the night, your whatever you want me to be. So, tonight we're going to be talking about something different. We usually talk about politics, we've been talking about the election, so on and so forth, but we're going to talk about something different tonight. And, a lot of folks in office they don't really look at it. They don't really talk about this because it's not it's not the bandwagon stuff. It's not the the rah rah rah. It's none of that stuff. And it's stuff that typically we don't talk about. We need to talk about it. So today I'm going to talk to you about what's going on with our pets and the abuse that they get, and so on and so forth, and what we need to do before we go any further. If you are on here and you are part of a group, what I'd like for you to do is go ahead and put type your group in the text so I can give you a shout out. Sorry about that. That's the household 6 trying to get it on Facebook. So again, all you got to do is when you are trying to get on, it's relatively easy to get on. You can just go to my Facebook. You can go to my X. You can go to YouTube, and you can go to some other social media platforms that you can take a look at going to. Now, again, tonight we are going to talk about what's going on in Arizona, about what's happening with our animals that are being abused. Now, as you know, this past year, we had a bill signed, and what that bill did, it protected animals. And I'm going to show you a few clips on the bill. We're going to talk about some of the numbers that affect Arizona when we're talking about these bills. And so the deal is that some folks don't think that it does affect Arizona, and it does. And that's why we need to make sure that we are being cognitive of that. So let me go ahead and start you off with some facts really quickly. Okay, so these are verified facts for Arizona, and they're intakes and outcome facts. Okay, so improvement from a 5,200 animal gap, which was identified in 2024. Now, if those numbers are like foreign to you, let me put it into perspective of, think about I don't know, the budget. I've talked about the budget a lot, and we have a deficit. I'm talking about the state, not the state budget, but the federal budget. There's a deficit, and that deficit is in the trillions, so on and so forth. If you think about what I said, the 3,600, additional spaces that we need, that's a deficit of what we needed. And that was in 2024. And that was some years ago. Now, I don't know what it is today, but I'm sure it's more. Today, I had an opportunity to go and visit a shelter in Navajo County. And let me tell you how they got this shelter. First of all, they're in this small building. That building is probably 2 sizes long of my office. In that building, they have the evidence lockers. I think they have 10 kennels, I think. They have a place for cats, but they can't use that because they have to use that for storage. They have water that they're supposed to be able to use to wash the dogs, or the animals, to be able to water them, so on and so forth. The water comes out as a trickle. They have an issue with when they're right down the road from I think it's the waste facility plant. I may be wrong on that. However, I have some pictures and I'll put them up on my Twitter and Facebook. But I walk in there and I'm like, holy cow, what the heck is this? You got one guy working in there. He's got a budget of $3,000. However, the county and both the cities pitch in to be able to facilitate the need for this resource centers, but he gets $3,000 a year for a budget. We're going to try to work at that. Tomorrow, I'm going down to Phoenix and I'm going to take a look at the Maricopa County facility and just see how they do things. The bottom line is, and when I was talking to some of these great folks today that were out there in Navajo County, is that we need to move more to a region facility of shelter to accommodate for some of the pets that come in, the animals that come in. Now, you've heard of the clinics that have to put the animal to sleep. That's what I'm going to call it. They have to put the dog to sleep. And a lot of times they have to do this because the dog is either sick, the dog has been injured, the dog has bitten someone, and some of that. Let me tell you, talking with this group that I was talking with this past week, some of that, they'll categorize these dogs that go in there, and they'll say, "This is a vicious dog." 0. I say that not because I don't think that she's doing this for money. I think that she's doing this for money. I say that because there's a lot of other people out there that are trying to save a lot of these animals. And that's just one that I saw. The group that I met with over the Zoom this past week, I got to tell you, first of all, if you're a lawmaker, I'm going to bring a bill to the floor. And this group is starting a pack. I got to tell you, they are like a bunch of out of control infantrymen that bust through doors. They go slinging with their weapons, their firearms, but it's in a way that they're going to make sure that these animals are taken care of. Now, heads up to lawmakers. They're going to start a pack. They're going to start a scorecard. They are going to raise money. These folks are no joke. So if you're one of those lawmakers that think that this is a non-starter issue, I'll give you a year, and these folks are going to be knocking at your door at the Capitol, looking at you, asking you why you didn't support saving these animals. And then when you start to see mailers come in the mail about you, there's a sad dog there, and they got you there with a big no vote, don't say I didn't warn you. So there's going to be more to follow on that. But I got to tell you, these folks, I mean, they mean business. They mean business. So I'll make sure I'm not going to get in the way of them. Okay. I'm going to make sure that I write that legislation that they should have. So let me go ahead and show you this clip really quickly. And hold on really quickly. I'm going to show you this clip. And bring a dog in. And hold up. Oh, we got a dog that showed up before I show you the clip. Let me introduce you to Chappie James. So this is Chappie James. Okay, he's got one of those big faces. So Chappie James, can you tell us a story about how we got Chappie James?
So we need to thank Amy with Dog Savers. Amy with Dog Savers, Connor and Jennifer. Chappie was thrown into a canal, tied to another dog, and the other dog got adopted, and he was sad, and so he wasn't. He wasn't. They weren't able to really show him, so he was on the euthanasia list. And Amy, Connor, and Jennifer, and Chrysia with Hearts of Infinity helped us get him to foster. So he is available for adoption. And he is what they call a pocket pit, but he's so sweet. He's so sweet. So I thought I would introduce you to him.
So real quick, while we got Chappie and we've got Christy up there, kind of tell us. Want me to hold him for you? Kind of tell us about what the group is going to do.
So we are starting a pack, and we are going to support. He's heavy. He's tiny, but he's very heavy.
Let me get on this side.
And he's come a long ways. Anyways, we're going to start a pack, and this pack is to support legislation to help animals. When we want to stop euthanizing them for animals like Chappie, who could have just been, trained a little bit. Somebody worked with him. I think we had him in our home 3 days, and he was doing so much better.
You should have got on this with me.
Yeah, I should have. But so we want to start that. But we want to start pushing. We want to start pushing people to be responsible pet owners. So, and I don't really know what the answer is, but I do know there's a lot of animals being abandoned in Arizona, tied to tree. There was one tied to a tree. Nobody knows how long it was there. Somebody.
Now, did you tell the folks how we got Chappie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was thrown in a canal in Mesa.
In a bag. With a cat, right?
No, with another dog.
With another dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
And some construction workers saw him and saved him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So real quick, let me tell you how we got the name. You going back over to take care? Okay. Kumo D. I should have named him Kumo D. Let me tell you how we got the name of Chappie. So when I was growing up, my hero, I had a military hero. His name was Daniel James. His nickname was Chappie. He was the first 4-star general that happened to be a black guy back in, I don't know, he was general back in 1976 or something like that. I read his book, Black Eagle. I mean, this guy, he was the number one mentor to me. And I try to emulate myself and some of his traits of what I do today. If you have a chance, read it. It's called Black Eagle. General Daniel Chappie James, 4-star Air Force general, passed away, of course. And the reason why I named him Chappie was because recently the Defense Department took down his photo or his portrait in the Department of Defense or Department of War, whatever they're calling it now. And they call it DEI. Okay. First of all, I don't care if people get pissed off at me on this. Okay. This guy is a 4-star general. All right. Back in the time when black 4-star generals were not common. Okay, Vietnam veteran, flew over 100-something missions in Korea and Vietnam. The first black 4-star general that commanded NORAD, and NORAD was and still is our missile defense capability. So if the Russians were going to launch missiles at the United States, this guy was in command of all that. I don't think that was DUI or DEI, whatever they call it. So I named him Chappie. And if people get upset about that, guess what? I don't know. Go eat a hamburger. So let's get back into this. I'm going to show you a clip. Sorry, I digressed. I'm going to show you a clip of what I found on the net today. Okay. And when we get through some of this data, we'll open it up for questions and so on and so forth. I'm not sure if y'all can see that or not. I hope you can. Hold up. I want to make sure you can see it. All righty. Let's do this. As you can tell, I am a tanker, and tankers takes us a bit to do some of this. Here we go.
More than a dozen abandoned pets rescued from a Phoenix home after going nearly a month without food, without water. Several more animals were found dead inside the home.
And now a woman is facing charges. Fox 10's Nicole Garcia joins us live with more on the animal cruelty investigation unfolding there.
Investigators with both the Phoenix Police Department and the Arizona Humane Society are calling this one of the worst cases of animal hoarding and neglect that they've encountered. Of the dozen surviving animals, there was a 3-year-old Great Dane that was found in the worst condition. It weighed 57 pounds, which officials say is less than half of what a healthy dog that breed and age should weigh. Phoenix police say they're grateful for the 2 callers who reported seeing neglected animals at this home.
The officers that responded described a very foul smell. These dogs basically howling in distress and scratching at the door for someone to feed them.
Investigators say they found about a dozen dogs, cats, chickens, and snakes barely alive inside the house, along with 16 dead pets.
We are estimating the animals were inside there for at least a month, possibly longer, by themselves without any food or water.
This Great Dane named Pandora was in the worst condition.
Pandora was locked in a crate when we found her, covered in her own urine and feces. She weighed in at 57 pounds when we brought her in, and as a Great Dane, she should weigh anywhere between 110 and 135.
Pandora was rushed to the Second Chance Animal Trauma Hospital. She had several injuries and was severely dehydrated.
Miss Pandora was probably not going to make it more than a couple more days.
Police arrested Rachel Ussery Welch, who now faces 12 counts of animal cruelty. Investigators say at one point, a couple had been living together in the home with more than 30 pets. Then one person moved out.
The other half, who ended up being the arrested party, indicated that she would be fine living there. She was going to have a roommate come in and move in, and she would take care of the animals. Again, at what point she stopped living there and taking care of the animals, we don't know.
Well, the good news is Pandora is gaining weight. She's gained 10 pounds so far, and she's recovering with a foster family. Investigators say those animals probably would not have survived another week in that home without any food and water. Most of the animals that were rescued have been treated and since adopted out or are staying with foster families.
How do we help these folks? That was down in Tucson, I think she said. And I got to tell you, I'm at fault for this too. Now we've adopted a lot of, pets. We have. I mean, I can't tell you, how many we've had that were adopted. Let me see if I can get through them. When I was at Fort Leavenworth, we adopted my little dog. His name was Sable. After a tank round, passed away. Then we adopted who was before Binks. We adopted Binks. He was a rescue dog. After that, we adopted Penny, who was a rescue dog. After that, we adopted.
Well, we got Sherman, but he wasn't rescued.
Okay.
It was a family that
was a family one. We got Sable, or we got a Sherman. He's named after a tank, and he fights all the time. And then we got Pele, who's one of his ears is all jacked up. I call him Pimp Daddy. We got him. Then we found. Chappie.
Chappie, but Sable, we had for like 11 years.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Dukes we had for around the same time, and they passed away. So we don't have them all at once.
Yeah. And now, so now, and then, so we got Chappie. I mean, we got, you know, I got so many, I don't even know. Okay.
I love them all.
So we love them all. So we got, we have those,
Shelley
and,
and Nissa.
and well, yeah, my sister-in-law, Shelly, she adopted a dog named Nissa. And then my son, John, got a rescue dog. Her name is Rosie.
No, Rosie.
Okay, but she's still around. Rosie. And then he got another dog named Newt. And this is a dog I got to tell you. I wish we could have had him up here. I mean, he growls when you feed him or when you pet him. It was crazy.
He growls if you stop petting him.
Yeah, he growls if
Yeah.
you stop petting him. So I wasn't really aware of a lot of this stuff until my wife and this great group of folks came and talked to me about this. Hey, Jake, what's going on, brother? And they told me about this. And I'm thinking, well, you know, come on, it can't be that bad. You know, it really can't. We should have got you some headphones.
No, we're fine.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, but you can be part of the conversation.
Right. So, but if we want to talk about how to help these people,
Let me do this first.
oh, do that one first.
Okay. Let me give you some numbers really quickly. And I think it's important that you know this. I already talked to you about what the year-end number is. When we're talking about the deficit, that's $3,600 36 additional life-saving outcomes. 3,600, that's the deficit we have right now. Let's go by county. So in Maricopa County, 2025, just last year, over 17,000 animals entered care. And 11,000 of those 17,000 were adopted. 1,800 were returned home, and 1,700 were transferred. And that was a save rate of 93.25%. Now, can you talk to me about that save rate deal, what they do for the euthanasia?
Right. So here's the bottom line. In order to be considered a no-kill shelter, they have to have less than a 15% no-kill rate. But literally, people are just abandoning dogs so much that they're inundated. So sometimes it comes down to which dogs are unadoptable. So like the dogs we have, Nissa was on the one my sister adopted. She was on the euthanasia list for having kennel cough. Kennel cough is treatable. So Shelly felt comfortable taking her. And I got to tell you, she is like the best dog. Whoever had this dog had her trained. She's potty trained. She's kind with the kids, best dog. But so we saved her. Pele, he, same thing, kennel cough. And Sarah convinced Walt to take him. And then we have Chappie, who he was just scared. So you got to figure a lot of these dogs that they end up having to put down because they can't show and they can't get them adopted, they're terrified. And it takes a lot of manpower to go in there and retrain them and work with them and take them on walks. So Officer Bex had a really good analogy today. He said, imagine somebody locked you in a bathroom for 10 hours a day. And then if you're lucky, you get to go out on a 30-minute walk. And that's what some of these dogs face. But the sad thing is that when I go there and I look, I would say 90% of the dogs that they're euthanizing are pit bulls mixes, and they have a bad reputation. It's sad. So basically, to stay within the 95%, they pick the dogs that aren't adapting well in the shelter, and they try to get them out to what they call a new hope. And this is just in Maricopa County. In Navajo County, we only have a 3% euthanization, rate. And some of the other counties, Pinal County has a really great rate. It just depends, but you have to figure Maricopa County is being inundated with dogs, and people do not adopt these pits. Especially like Chappie, they told me when we were going to foster him, nobody's going to adopt a black pit. And Chappie only weighs like 28 pounds. He literally looks like somebody zapped a pit bull and shrunk him. He's super cute, but still people are scared of that breed because there's a lot of misconceptions out there. Then we have amazing rescue groups, right? Like up here in the White Mountains, we have Pet Alleys, we have Tales of Love, and there's tons of them. Like when we look at Jen over in Pinell County, she's huge and helps. And she even takes some of the dogs from here. She took a dog from Navajo County that they had arrested the owner, and his paw was swollen. They thought maybe out of foxtail in it. By the time they did surgery and got him looked at, it was actually a drug needle in this poor dog's paw, and now he's doing great.
So can you talk a little bit about? I should have got her on here, right? Because she knows this better than I do. And if you have questions, please put them up on the screen. We will answer your questions. We'll put your comments up here. Can you talk to us about the pack that you are starting with your comrades, I guess, your colleagues? Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yes. So we want something to happen. There's got to be something that's going to happen. There are too many dogs being abused, too many dogs being abandoned. I feel super bad for our sheriff's departments who have to go out, and they will often find hoarders that have 30, 40 dogs. And what are they supposed to do with them? Or one of the things that makes me this sad is seeing a car. You'll see videos of a car just pull up and dump a dog out. It's so sad. And then, animal owners that just aren't taking care of them. So something's got to give. So one of the legislation pieces that we were looking at is a universal chip reader. So often they'll find a dog and they'll say the dog has a chip, but we don't have the reader that works on it. So we need to get a universal chip reader. I'm not sure what that will look like. We're willing to work with our legislators. The other thing is we want to have like some right and left limitations. Like our shelters need support, and then our rescues also need support, right? So the shelters are just being inundated with dogs, and the rescues are taking the dogs that aren't adapting well in the shelter or get sick or need medical treatment, and they're trying to get them homes. And so we want to be able to do something to give it a better quality of life for these dogs. And then we also want our legislators to be held accountable and support legislation that saves dogs, that saves horses. We have Hillary Rojo up here who has a horse rescue, and people will just, if they can't feed their horse anymore, they just dump it off. I mean, it's very heartbreaking. But we want to have a pack that starts rating legislators, and we're going to go all the way down to, sheriffs, and we're going to go all the way down to our county supervisors. We want to give a scorecard and ask, do you commit to helping us save dogs and enforcing laws? We want people to register their dog with the town. It's $5 to register your dog with Snowflake.
Okay, so for you folks that are starting this pack, we happen to have a good friend of mine. He's a lobbyist. His name is Jake Hinman. I work with him a lot. He's a great lobbyist. Jake, I don't mean to throw you under the bus, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this pack or these folks your information, and I'm sure they'll be giving you a call. And I see you're up here. We're talking about raising awareness. You do a lot of good work in that space. So I will be ensuring that I get that to you. What I want to do is,
You have a lot of questions.
I'm going to get to these questions. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you another video that I just found while my sweetheart was talking. It's some of these. I want to give you a warning. If you have a child in a room or something like that, just be aware. I need to put that out there that there may be something on here that may kind of disturb your child. So let me go ahead and put this on, and you can take a look at this.
Southwest of Buckeye. Some appear desperate to get out of their cages as Maricopa County Sheriff deputies walk through the property. The owner is accused of hoarding them, but then abandoned these dogs instead of answering to the sheriff's department.
Honestly, it makes no sense. I've been doing this job for 35 years, and it makes no sense that she would just up and just leave these dogs to fend for themselves.
While the 9 dogs were saved, Dave Moyer with the sheriff's office tells me it's likely going to be a long road to recovery for some of them.
They did appear, some were malnourished. Obviously, they were scared, and we don't know how long they've been out here in these conditions. They did have some ticks. We don't know if they have any diseases at this point.
Before the deputies got to the property Wednesday morning, the suspect took off in an RV she was staying in. Wayne Pacelli, the president of the animal rights group Animal Wellness Action, says in situations like this, there is a concern the suspect will continue to hoard if they aren't caught.
Many times, hoarders, when the law comes looking for them, run to a new jurisdiction. They seek a new life, if you will, so they can obtain more animals and continue their neglect and mistreatment of animals, even though they think they are not committing adverse actions toward animals.
Pacelli says these people need help, but also need to be held accountable for their actions.
We certainly advise mental health counseling for people who are hoarders. That said, they need to be separated from the animals.
As of this evening, the suspect is still on the run. Now, it's not a crime to own several animals, but you can spot potential illegal hoarding or neglect by watching out for signs on the animals, such as them being malnourished or having untreated injuries. You can find a full list of signs to look out for on our website, azfamily.com. Live in the studio, I'm Steven Sarabia with Arizona's Family.
Oh, Christy's gonna get on out of here. She's gonna go back and listen to this. Do you have some closing words you want to share with your friends?
I do. So here's what I want to ask of everybody. We're getting our pack set up, and that will be more to come. Walt will keep you updated on that. But until then, there's things that you can do. So if you live in the Snowflake Taylor area, you can contact the Snowflake Taylor Police Department, and you can ask for them to donate. Like, they need snacks donated for the dogs all the time. You can also go walk a dog early in the morning so that they can get out and get exercise. Because remember, we only have one officer there, and MK. If you're in Maricopa County, I want you to look at Dog Savers, Brave Paws, and I'll ask Cooper and Amy and Jennifer to put some of the other places in here. If you would be willing to donate and share their posts, what these groups do is they take dogs from the E-list and they start advertising them and helping people get them adopted.
So do
So
you all have a webpage yet? Or are you working on that? for your
we
donations?
don't, we're very in our infancy stage, but we're big. I want you to know there's like a huge group of us, and we've had it with the treatment of dogs and people abusing dogs and dumping them off.
So if a
Um,
group wants to join
Yes.
this pack, how do they do that? Who do they reach out to?
We will give you more information on that, but what I do want to tell you is it's going to be really big. We're going to be very robust, and we're not crazy, but it's gotten ridiculous, you know. And like Susie said, she's thankful that sometimes they drop them off at houses, and that's great. But the bottom line is you shouldn't be dropping them off at all, and we do need some accountability for breeders. I'm not sure what that looks like, but we do need some accountability, and we do need people to register their dogs with the city and make sure that they're vaccinated and taken care of. Those are part of your family. Once you take a dog, it's part of your family. And so hence why we have all kinds of dogs. And we don't want to, you know, we love them. We didn't intend on having this many dogs, but somebody has to step up and help. If you're interested in getting a dog, I urge you to please take a look at Dog Savers, take a look at Brave Paws on Facebook, and consider adopting one of those dogs so that they aren't killed. They're great dogs. And here's the best news. It's a $0 adoption fee, and they come vaccinated and spayed or neutered. So thank you guys for all stepping up and listening, and we will give more. And Walt's going to be having Amy and Connor and Cooper and probably, you know, Officer Beck and other people on here to answer questions and talk more about this. but it's a growing problem and we have to fix it. So thank you guys.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. I don't get a kiss or a hug or something like that. I think I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I got this good looking woman who I married up with. So let me go through some more of these stats, and I will tell you this isn't the last time we're going to be talking about this. Christy is right. I'm going to be having some folks on here. They're going to be sharing a panel with us. Going to be talking about some of the issues. Hopefully, the next time when I get on, they will be at a place with their PAC to be able to have a contact number, have folks sign up. A website up. They're going through the initial phases right now. I got to tell you, it's going to be something else. It's going to be cool. And I encourage folks to get on board. Let me go through some numbers really quickly. Again, Maricopa County. I want to go through some of these other counties that have a large a population of animals that go through these shelters. So when we're talking about Pinal County, so their intake is actually about 2,240 dogs and cats. 2,240 dogs and just over 1,000 cats, which is going to be, over like 3,311 total animals reported as being put to sleep. Okay. The total in that 214 dogs and 61 cats, many were classified as unhealthy and untreatable. So what I want to do is find out, okay, so what is the definition of that? How are they determining that? I'm not saying the Pinal County is just, picking and choosing. I really want to see how they're doing this, what their method is, their takeaways, their good news stories, so they can share that with the rest of the state. We're talking about Yuma. They take in about 3,100 stray dogs and 2,300 stray cats. What is it? A year they do that. Okay, 625. They call them surrendered dogs. So those are dogs that were turned in. 284 surrendered cats. And with this, they're in the same category now. 83% of these animals in Yuma County were strays. Okay, or they have the additional 14% when some of these animals were surrendered by the owner, which is, if you can't handle your dog, that's a responsible thing to do. Pima County Animal Care Center, they reported 593 dogs physically housed at their shelter, forcing staff to use temporary kennels and place multiple dogs in individual kennels. So that's all in the paper. In Sedona, which is right down the road from where we are, the Humane Society of Sedona reported saving 98% of the dogs and cats entering its shelter. Okay, so those are just some of the numbers that's out there. Now, in 2025, there was an estimate of 5.8 million dogs and cats that entered the American shelters and rescue centers. So that's about 59% of strays that arrived in these centers. Okay, 30% of that, they were the owners gave it to them, and 4.2 million were adopted. I think I have all 4.2 million in my home at one time or another. And the sad case on that is over 597,000 were put to sleep, and that's a sad deal. And you can find that on the Shelter Animal Count Report of 2025. Now, here's the deal. I gave a bunch of numbers out there, and we're going to get to the questions here in the comments. I gave a bunch of questions and answers. I gave a bunch of numbers out there, and indeed they are a lot of it's a lot of information. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Now, again, I didn't realize the depth of this until I really started getting involved in this with this group. Now, a good friend of mine, Senator Bullock, ran a piece of legislation last session. And what it did, it increased the penalties, the criminal penalties of abusing one of these dogs or abandoning one of these dogs. I saw a video before I got on here, and this person was driving a car, stopped, threw the dog out the car, and then took off. You know, having a pet is like, part of your family, So I don't know how folks, can sleep at night. And apparently some of them can. Let me go through some of this really quickly so I can get to all y'all and recognize the good folks on here. Want to recognize AZDCS Oversight Group. You are always doing great and wonderful things. Thanks so much. Want to recognize my sweetheart, Christy Blackman. And she says it's not showing on Facebook, so that's why she decided to come out here. Also, my sister-in-law, we love our rescue dogs, and she says she has the best dog ever. And she can have some of mine if she'd like. Actually, Chappie may be going over to here. And Christy again says that people just dump their animals off, and MK volunteers more than 60 hours per week. That is the young lady who drives down to Phoenix and does that on her own. And I got to say, that's pretty good. AZDCS says good for the animal group. We do appreciate them. And we've got Melissa Hill, F8, and she says MK works hard at the shelter, and she is not getting paid. We need more to help this community that are low income and on fixed incomes. Educate the people and get the animals sprayed and neutered. So it's real. I'm glad you brought that up, because it seems like the folks that are, that are doing a lot of this, doing this work behind the scenes, these folks have a heart of gold. When someone is on a fixed income, and their financial, I would say their financial situation, which I don't know their financial situation. However, if it's, money's tight for everybody. However, they're actually getting out there, getting on the road, picking up these animals, taking them to safe places. And that's got to tell you something about our communities. So not everything in politics or in our world, in our environment, in our community needs to be about the pointing fingers. It's your fault, your fault, your fault. We're yelling at each other. We're just, who's right and who's wrong. These are the things that matter. These are the things that I like to work on as a legislator, help folks that are out there doing this, such as MK, the group that's going to start the PAC, the nonprofit organization. I like helping those people as well. You don't get the flags, you don't get the attaboys, you don't get in the news, but see, that's not why I'm doing this, and that's not why they're doing this. They are doing this because it is needed, and it's a cause out there that needs to be looked at. So, Chrissy, we says sprayed neuter. Okay, yeah, I got that too. We have at Braid Paws 9366. I believe that they were part of the conversation last night. I'm not real sure if they were or not. However, the name sounds familiar. I like that. And if you could come back up and kind of tell us a little bit about your organization if you have one. Then we got my good buddy Jake Hinman, and he says thanks for raising awareness on this issue. Again, Jake is a lobbyist in Arizona, does a lot of good work, and I've known Jake ever since I've been in the legislature. Just a really good guy, and if you would like for me to link you up with him, I'm sure that he would be glad to take a call. AZDCOS says, again, so sad. I can't stand to watch it. Yes, that video was sad. And folks just do that. And it kind of, you make it, you're like, this is Sane. My good friend Susie Ray usually have rescues, and I love rescues the best. Now I got to tell you something about Susie. She lives probably about a mile or so from me, and she's got this huge ranch place. I mean, it's fun to go to because she's got four-wheelers and she's got tiny homes and all that. It's fun. It's fun. Other than that, she has an area where she not collects, strays come in, or she rescues them, and she helps them, she feeds them, she takes care of them. And this is a person who doesn't have to do that, but she does. She does. And she doesn't brag about it. I'm bragging about her because these are the folks that need to be acknowledged. I love pets, and the bad owners, not bad pets. Okay, it's bad owners, not bad pets. And I got to tell you, those bad owners, remember there's a law out there. Senator Bullock wrote it last year, and you will be held accountable. So make sure that you are following the law. Okay, so let me do this really quickly. I don't know why. Okay, where you're at. You're okay. So Bray Paul's got back up here again, and she says, yes, they are a 501c. I'm sure they have a website. If you could put your website up here, so I can share it with everyone, and we can get started again on that. And an AZDCS oversight group. Legislation for foster payments for those who foster animals. Foster for our kids get paid. Why not fostering animals? And again, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. However, AZDCOS, we've been working together for the past, 9 months, working on the DCS oversight. We're going to continue to do that. And, when we're talking about foster, we're also talking about our kids. And there's going to be more shows on that later on. Sorry, I digress. Just want to put that out there. We're working on that. Want to give a big shout out to that group. Excuse me. We look at what Kissie's saying, and she's saying look up Property Pets. Also, they help low income areas. And we've got the Bray Pauls saying thank you to Christy and myself. Really appreciate that. And before we close out, again, if you have witnessed or something is going on with some of these animals, please report animal abuse in Arizona. Their main line that you can call, that main line is 602-997-758. Now make sure that I will put that up there again for you all. And so you can be able to call those numbers. I'm sure some of you already have those numbers. Just make sure you give them a call and you are taking care of some of the pets that are out there. And if you want to track what I'm doing, all you need to do is go to my Facebook. You can go to my Twitter at Blackman for AZ. Of course, you can get on to YouTube. We kind of send these around. I'm also going to be putting up some of these pictures and some of the legislation on my webpage, www.votewaltb.com. And we want to get people involved. And of course, I'm your state legislator out of Legislative District 7. Make sure that if you are having questions or you want to be part of the process and not the problem, make sure you reach out to us. Make sure that you give us some ideas. When they begin to have stakeholder meetings, I got a lot that's going to be going on this year between DCS and between helping these folks out with the rescue dogs or rescue pets. And I have enough. So please, I have enough. I love them, but I have enough. So I've got a platoon of rescue pets in my house. So please make sure you reach out to these folks. Again, once they get up and running, I will make sure that I'll get somebody here and we'll talk to them about what they're doing. And hopefully, before we get back in the session, I'm going to have ACDCOS on here as well. We're going to be sharing the screen. Hopefully we can talk about some of the things that are going on in our DCS. Can't forget about that. Looks like I got a couple of more. Okay. That is okay. So I want to mention Cooper with Brave Paws helped us with Amy to get Chappie. Okay. Appreciate that. So drop some links above. Okay, so there's some links that have been dropped, and once they get on, I'll make sure we get that up to folks. Again, everyone, I want to thank you for reaching out. Please share, like, and follow. Share, like, and follow. Share, like, and follow. I don't know how much I can say that enough, but we are growing right now. Just right here on the platform, we got 61 folks that are chimed in. And then on my other platforms, I believe we got like 50 and we got a 20 or something like that. So we are growing. And we are growing because we talk about issues that matter most to Arizonans. And it is real refreshing to be able to be in elected office and actually do something that matters to people, and not just be part of a yelling group of folks that point fingers and say that they are more right or you are more wrong. These are the type of issues that I ran on. These are the type of issues that help me sleep at night as they help you sleep at night. This is important. And this is what this is about. This is talking about all of those issues that are important to us as Arizonans, and not just a collective few or a party or an ideology. These are things that affect us, and I want to continue to do that. So again, please like, share, and follow. I will be back on here this Friday, and we're just going to keep doing it. We're just going to keep having fun and doing this again. And if you're at the Capitol, make sure you come down and see me, Arizona State Representative Walt Blackman, Legislative District 7. I will see you on the flip side.